Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. I do want to switch gears. Want to go ahead and talk a little bit of college hoops and college hoops recruiting specifically, because bluntly, it's that time of year, right? Listen, we know it was the last Saturday of college basketball on the court earlier today and really throughout the day. But it is that time where player movement, roster building is really starting towards next season. Teams are losing in conference tournaments. We see the ones when coaches get fired or entering the portal. The portal is going to be crazy over the next couple weeks. And also, even in the high school ranks, we saw the news of Liam McNeely, the five-star who asked out of his letter of intent at Indiana just a few days ago. Well, I bring it up because there was more recruiting news in the high school ranks as Karter Knox, five-star, French five-star, top 20 player pretty consensusly. Some have him as a five-star, some have him as a four-star. Either way, the younger brother of Kevin Knox, who played at the University of Kentucky, and of course was drafted by the New York Knicks in the lottery. Karter Knox, Kevin Knox's younger brother, made his college announcement just moments ago. Down to four options. He plays at Overtime Elite, and he's from Tampa originally. So his four options were Kentucky, where his brother played, Louisville, which is, of course, at least for now, coached by Kenny Payne, who was at Kentucky with the Knox family just a few years ago, South Florida, where he is from in Tampa, and oh, by the way, a return to Overtime Elite as well. Karter Knox, top 20 prospect, class of 2024. As I just said, let's not beat around the bush. Just moments ago, committed to the University of Kentucky as Kentucky picks up another marquee recruit in what is quickly becoming a class that I really, really like in this 2024 cycle. So let's go ahead and dive into this commitment. First of all, I'm not a 24-hour a day, 365 days a year recruiting guy. This isn't that surprising, though. I mean, you just look at the options outside of Kentucky. Louisville is not going to have a head coach in the next week or so. As soon as Louisville loses in the ACC tournament, Kenny Payne is out. That's not a secret, whatever, when it makes sense for him to commit to Louisville. South Florida, I get it. Amir Abdur-Rahim has done as well as any coach in college basketball this year at South Florida. I think they should be in the NCAA tournament, even if they lose in their conference championship game. Don't think it's going to happen. But regardless, South Florida, AAC, not the most high-profile spot for a five-star. I get he's from Tampa, but that one didn't make sense. And I didn't really think, bluntly, a return to Overtime Elite was an option. I know it's a developmental place, but bright stage, bright lights, Kentucky, it's just too good of an opportunity to pass up. And now Kentucky gets another very interesting piece for that 2024-2025 roster. Listen, Karter Knox is a really good player, okay? About 6'6", and I think he's still grown about an inch or two over the last year. Really, probably not quite as skilled as his older brother, Kevin, who was phenomenal during that 2017-2018 Kentucky season, but very athletic, plays hard, crashes the glass, shoots the three ball, I think, very well. And you look at this new era of Kentucky basketball, which is about spacing, ball movement, skill over sheer athleticism. I think Karter Knox is kind of the best of both worlds. I don't think he's the most skilled player that has ever played the basketball in the history of the sport. Guess what? Few are, right? But at the same time, the athleticism is off the charts. The skill is really good. And you give him a year in this system, in this weight program with off the court people, on the court people, John Welsh, everything that he has done for this offense. And I believe Karter Knox could be like the star of this team next year. Now, we'll see if he is, because as we're going to talk about in a minute, big high school class, but also some very interesting NBA draft decisions. But I mean, if you tell me that this kid goes from top 20 prospect in this class to top 10 pick next year, I would not be surprised. And if you need proof of that, just look at this year's Kentucky team. You look at Kentucky, where was Rob Dillingham ranked at this time last year? By the way, another Overtime Elite kid. ranked what, 20 to 25, four-star kid. People kind of like, he's skilled, but how good is he and how is he going to adapt in a college environment? Well, he goes to Kentucky in this system. Who cares about the recruiting ranking? He is going to be probably a top 5 pick, probably one of the first 2 or 3 college players off the board. He is an incredible talent, and it proves put the right people in this system. That's all that matters. By the way, same with Reed Sheppard. Where was he ranked? Where is he going to get drafted if he decides to go pro? Still not totally sure that he's going to go. We'll discuss that in a minute. But at the same time, I don't care as much about recruiting rankings because of the way this team is playing right now. It's about skill. It's about athleticism. It's about putting the ball on the floor. And I think Karter Knox is another one of those guys that isn't a top 5 prospect, but can develop in this system. Really like him, by the way, with the rest of this class. I think it's a very interesting class from Kentucky because, again, emphasis on skill. Jaden Quaintance, big guy who can step out, hit shots, also put the ball on the floor. Now, he's really young. It's going to take some time. He's only 16 years old. He won't even, he's not even eligible for the next NBA draft going into next season, meaning he could spend 2 years at Kentucky. Really like him. I love Billy Richmond. I think Billy Richmond is old school Calipari, plays hard, athleticism. You don't have to ask him twice to do anything, dives on the floor, crashes the glass. Like, I love everything Billy Richmond's about. Boogie Fland is going to be really good in this system, as we just said. And oh, by the way, Samto Cyril, and of course, Travis Perry, who, listen, don't want to put any pressure on him, but he is obviously a very gifted scorer, very gifted player out of the Kentucky high school ranks. Don't want to put too much on him, but we have seen you can be a Kentucky high school basketball player, step into the SEC, and have success immediately because of what we have seen from Reed Sheppard. So you talk about a 6-man class that has a little bit of everything: size, athleticism, length, but most importantly, basically all those guys, except for maybe Samto Cyril, are skilled as you know what. And so you look at this group, you look at how it's coming together, and you look at how this current Kentucky team plays, and you'd start plugging in some of those guys next year, and it's really exciting. And I think what's especially exciting is, look, what did I say to lead this segment? This is roster building season in college hoops, and we are so far from done from seeing what this Kentucky team looks like in 24-25. Because one, it's worth noting, even from the high school ranks, Darren Peterson, one of the top high school players in the country, he's in 2025. A lot of people think he's coming to 2024. That's the kind of like plug and play. Oh, that dude is going to mess around and be the best player on the team if you can get him. Obviously, it feels like it's a Kansas-Kentucky battle, at least as of right now. But Darren Peterson was on campus this week. By the way, even whether he chooses Kentucky or Kansas, there's no real indication that he is definitively going to reclassify. But it's okay to dream a little bit, right? It's okay to dream a little bit. Beyond that, I think what's going to be interesting is who on this team comes back in 2024, 2025. Because right now, I don't think you can really say anybody. Maybe Adu Thiero is probably the obvious one. But look, Aaron Bradshaw is going to have a tough NBA draft decision, probably not ready. Will he get drafted on upside? I think we know Rob Dillingham is leaving. I think we know DJ Wagner is leaving. As I said, I am not sold that Reed Sheppard is definitively going pro after this year. I think it's likely. I think it's less likely he comes back, but there is so much NIL money at stake for him to return. And I also don't necessarily believe that he's a top 5 pick as of right now. So could Reed Sheppard come back? Could Aaron Bradshaw come back? What's Big Z going to do? What's Agana Onyenso going to do? Obviously, Trey Mitchell and Antonio Reeves are gone. But really, outside of Dillingham and Wagner, I don't know that anybody is a grand slam definitively leaving after this year. Point I'm trying to make, I really like this Kentucky team. I really like what they're looking like heading into the deep part of the season, SEC tournament next week, March Madness the week after. But you start looking ahead to next year. Really like the pieces right now, and really like how much better they could get over probably the next 6 to 8 weeks, as Kentucky does pick up a commitment from Karter Knox on Saturday. If you enjoyed this video, do me a quick favor. Make sure to subscribe to the Aaron Torres Pod YouTube channel. New clips, no videos going up every day. By the way, we will be in Vegas this week for championship week, so lock in. We'll have shows every single day. So excited about all that. Appreciate everybody's support.